The initial rollout of the vaccine is happening, but the numbers are not necessarily hitting some of the projected goals that we had heard about. And just recently, Dr. Fauci, he was on the news and he was asked about the fact that they're apparently not going to hit I think it was the Project Warp Speed goal of 20 million vaccine doses by December. And here is what Fauci had to say.
We certainly are not at the numbers that we wanted to be at the end of December. You heard talking about 40 million doses for 20 million people. I mean, even if you undercount, 2 million is an undercount. How much undercount could it be? So we are below where we want to be. General Perna has spoken about this. He's actually publicly, to his great credit, he's publicly apologized about some glitches that have gotten to this. I believe that as we get into January, we are going to see an increase in the momentum, which, Jim, I hope allows us to catch up to the projected pace that we had spoken about a month or two ago when we were talking about the planned rollout of the vaccinations.
Okay, so 2.1 million vaccine doses have been administered. Although remember, for a lot of those, you're going to have to do a second one, so it's not necessarily covering as many people as it might seem, which is quite a bit less than the 20 million doses that they had projected. But he does say in the extended clip that, what we want to do is we want to get through, the initial wave of people that most desperately need it. We want to get into that period where anybody can go to the store and get it that wants to. But by the way, he's not in charge of the role of the vaccine, so he's just an advisor who's commenting on it. But so far falling short, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate. I'm actually very surprised that we got this far, just because I really thought everything would be completely bumbled underneath Trump's administration. So I'm very shocked that we've made it this far, which is good. But I'm really glad that Fauci is, to some extent, spearheading this, or at least being the face out there when it comes to representation, getting information out regarding the vaccine. But yeah, this is actually, I think they're doing pretty well for what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess, look, if you had asked me, 6 months ago, would I have thought that 2 million doses would be administered before the end of the year? I would not have. So that's good. But we've already gotten a couple of updates that we talked about on the show of supply chain issues and things like that. And lurking behind any update about the vaccine is when I think about the fact that Biden is talking about possibly, invoking the Defense Production Act, the idea that they could do that now or could have done it in advance of the vaccine being, okayed by the FDA. Like, I have to wonder, what would the number look like if we had spent the last 6 months ramping up for this, getting facilities ready, getting regional distribution centers ready, and all of that? These are things that could have been done that they chose not to do, even as they bragged about their response month after month after month. And even if Biden gets in office, does it on day one, and then they start to ramp up, think about how many more doses could have been administered, how many more people will die that didn't need to. And that's a thing that every day Trump could do. It's not just a mistake he made in the past. It is a mistake, but he could do it today. He could do it tomorrow, and he's choosing not to. And when there's literally nothing the government could help in that's more important right now than making sure as many get vaccinated as possible, it is incredibly frustrating to know that there is that hypothetical world out there that we're just not going to see.
No, and something also in looking back over these last few months, how many people we had out there that were essentially trying to tear down Dr. Fauci and also the medical community. I was reading in that flashback thing, Elon Musk writing an article, I think for Politico, saying essentially that there are going to be 0 cases of COVID-19 come May. Things like that made it so much harder, it seemed, for us to use the right resources and to invest and to be a unified front, where the entire world seems to completely appreciate the seriousness of this moment, yet America's out here acting a fool. And it's embarrassing and it's unfortunate, but it makes me completely understand why the United States is a COVID-19 petri dish.
Yeah, I remember that Elon Musk comment. And it's I get that, he's not a doctor. He's not an expert on infectious disease, which is why I wouldn't have made the prediction in the first place. And I would perhaps have a little bit of humility about areas that I don't have personal expertise in. I guess the only good thing that came of this year was that he didn't get brought in to head up Operation Warp Speed or something like that.